So if you're new and you don't want to boogaloo and you want to dance this dance, listen to what I have to say. I do not repeat myself. I don't like to repeat myself. If you're about your health, listen up. If you done been to bang, 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 and nobody has a solution, here's the alternative, my experience, and I want to explain to you how I did it and how you can do it with any chronic disease, actually. Any, because it's all the same anyway. And I spoke to many who had difference, whether it's lupus, cancer, MS, hepatitis, HIV, Lyme, dormant meningitis, which is a killer. And I'm explaining to you, I'm gonna try to break it down fast, but you need your attention span expansion right now because it's important what I'm explaining to you. Now check it. Healing chronic illness. It's not just getting, sorry to say, antibiotics. You keep the bacteria at bay, you get better, but you're not healing. My father, when he was alive, was immune to antibiotics. That has a physician worried. Why are we immune to antibiotics? Here's the thing, is if this is an unnatural process of introduced bacteria into your system, I say, if there's a crisis and you're on edge and you need it and it makes things better, I say go for it. But if it turns you upside down, your immune system collapses and you get weaker and weaker and weaker, you just need to stop. Okay? This is serious business. I had Lyme for 37 years. I know what I'm talking about. Okay? So just stick with me, bear with me, and let me explain the modalities that I did with these people here. See, I got my t-shirt finally after 1 year. You know, no more Lyme in here. Like, first off, the symptoms that I had every freaking year, hay fever. Things bloom and blossom, I'm a mess. My nose is running, eyes are watery, eyes are like red, you know, when I was little, swollen. I got my tick bite when I was 11. Since then, my life changed. I kid you not, and I clearly remember this. I'd never ran on full capacity of my body, okay? Understand also, bacteria have a spiritual counterpart. If you have Lyme, you have death sitting on your shoulders. Basically, you have a demon mogul type entity that bleeds out fractally your life force using the collective that's inside of you. But what does that collective do? Pardon. These entities are smart. They go dormant for a minute, okay? So when I was 11, got antibiotics, tetanus, all types of which I healed out of my system to heal it. And they said there's actually no cure. We can only see if you recover. So if it goes to your spinal cord, you know, I went to the hospital with 4 kids. One died, one ended up in a coma, and the other one had, you know, turned into a retard, basically, you know, as weird as it sounds. I'm lucky that I'm here, that I have the full capacity of my brain, my cerebral visual cortex, oblongata, medulla, or hemispheres, and then the doctor said, you know, after I had that my frontal lobes were either running too slow or too fast, and I had a problem with like math as an abstract thinking, which wasn't the problem. So I tell you now modalities of what you need if you want to heal the stuff. First of all, know your symptoms. Write those symptoms down. Also know you can trigger the immune system by tapping the thymus and rubbing your heart and having a program code that goes adjacent with that. That is what these guys do. So if you can't do it no more, you know, it's chronic, or you turn into a bee, people can't stand you, life is really, you don't have good outlooks on life, you don't really feel good, I suggest get advanced cell training. That is to train the brain to develop right frequencies on a conscious matter to go after what it's been missing. So your immune system has gotten lazy over time with all the medication. Your immune system doesn't know what let's say, Bartonella virus mutated and then disguised itself as human DNA. And your immune system has no clue that it's sitting in you. So me, every year I'm getting sick. especially living in Germany, I'm thinking more well, moist climate. Um, it's the yearly measure. You get your tissues, you get your little nasal sprays, and okay, you get vitamin C, pump extra vitamin C, and it never healed. And it never occurred to anybody, you do this procedure every year and it never goes away. Why? Because you're not healing. So you have to understand is if the process is not changing when you're off the meds, you're not healing. So I don't believe anymore, and I have to say this with emphasis, of numbing my system for 30 years and everybody tells me something else and nobody can find shit, whether in my blood, pardon my French, heart, muscles, nothing. For 2 hours I had main focus. I was, doing the things, I don't know, workout, solving equations, whatever I wanted to, wherever I wanted to venture off with my mind, and then I totally collapsed like a sugar crash. But I'm not diabetic. Why is this kid crashing? Mother says, well, you're too weak, you're too sensitive, everything affects your stomach, blah, blah, blah. But it's not helping. So what do we learn with Lyme? And this is terrible. And I used to cry when I talked about this, but we hide. We play stronger. When we have our breakdowns, we push everything we have in our body to keep going with the kids. We run the tracks in school. We make the smiley face when we do the marathon, when we're actually breaking down and we're in pain, and it is torture. You don't understand. Then I had migraine. Okay? Every now and then, too much thinking going on. I'm stressed and they say it's a handbrake. I got a migraine where I would see auras, but not in a good way. My eyes would tear. I couldn't see light, electronics. Everything was just like as if my field was fractally open, I believe. Fractally open, so it's not too far for you, that my entire normal human defense system was completely broke down, and I was open and everything was just a mess. I had to lay down. Usually when I had migraines for a couple of days, I was like knocked out, okay? You couldn't talk to me, I couldn't get into anything. I was a mess. So you partition that in your life, you learn to hide and move it away. So I have symptoms after gastritis, what you call the irritable bowel syndrome, whatever, movement, blah, blah, blah. Digesting food at certain times, I couldn't eat. When I was stressed, my stomach would cramp up. If I had something with my stomach, it felt like a food poisoning, but I believe this was all now in my experience covered by Lyme. All of this, Lyme governs all the crap you want in the book. You wake up with joint pain. This is almost like fibromyalgia. You get out of you can imagine. You see me on YouTube, all of this flippity hippity hoppity and all of this energetic guy. Now I'm back. More back. This also has to do with willpower. Now here's the things that I have developed to actually heal that, and you won't find anything in my blood, and there's nothing wrong, and all my symptoms are gone. No more allergies. So here's the thing is, what I have proved is the change that took place in me, that my headache is gone. Yeah. ACT was the crown of it all, but you have to do the work. So here I wrote down a few things that you have to develop if you want to heal a chronic disease. And it's doable. Believe, I've seen many do it, thousands done it. It's insane, and I explain to you the best way I can how this works. So you have to have patience with yourself. Be patient. Love yourself. Have self-love. Have endless, infinite amounts of self-love yourself. It doesn't matter what the world says. You understand? Don't matter. Love yourself. Be an observer. Know your symptoms. Know yourself. Know if you can really remember your traumas, shocks, accidents, anything that happened. Have an inner standing. Go deeper into the material of things. Develop depth. If you don't have depth, guess what? The pain that you have with the chronic disease, and I had an ex-girlfriend that had lupus, similar things like Lyme. It's painful. You cannot eat when and how you want. You cannot run through life how you want. It kind of puts you in a harness, puts you on a leash, and things you want to do with your friends, not all the things you can do. It depends on where you are with your mentality and modality of how your body operates. Okay? Willpower. Willpower, willpower, willpower. Also develop an independence. Do not develop a codependence. We know this codependence. You're living with moms or you're living with the parents. When you're sick, mommy and daddy take care of me. But when you're old enough to be independent, you still develop that I'm being sick, so mommy and daddy take care of me. That is a codependence. Also, I help people getting into these trauma by getting into the subconscious program routine of what have you actually stored. Oh, I'm 11 years old. I cut myself. That's when I got sick. Mommy came for help. Now mommy pays more attention and loves me more. So every year around the same time, let's say in March, things bloom and blossom. Your little finger swells up. You get the same sickness. All the symptoms flare up because that's when you're calling mommy because you need the abusive love relationship. Makes sense? And trust me, it makes sense when you gotta have the patience to let me finish what I'm trying to tell you. And this is with energy because I want you to understand that. Your autoimmune system has a universal function of how your cells are supposed to behave, meaning appropriate autoimmune defense is not given when you have traumas in you. Also, I learned if you want to accelerate in that healing, I moved into a holy place, meaning whether in life or a different city, you got to get out of stress. Get out of Dodge City. You can't be in stress. You got to de-stress your life, period. Stress is murder, not for you. So I de-stressed my life. I moved into a resort-type healing town, Sedona, which did a tremendous job for me in peace and healing and really getting this out of my system. Have or find joy in your life. You need to have a hobby. You need not to sit on Facebook for 6 to 8 hours trying to find something, looking for pretentious cyberspace portraits that don't do nothing for you in your healing purpose. You need to subscribe to information that actually actively does something for you so your body can integrate something and it changes. Et voila, you're healing. You're getting better. Surround yourself with orgone devices, as in energy devices that in your house, natives, and this is not to be questioned. We had many haters out there that would question these things when a Hopi or let's say a Kogi native, Peru, native would say when a place is holy, you could see something like this. It will emanate a holy frequency which can be measured in the room. What that frequency does is your flowers are okay, the air in your house is okay, you have negative ions in your house, and really take notes here what I'm telling you because this is life changing. Negative ions, not ozone, fresh air, healthy lifestyle, eating healthy. It doesn't matter if it's a paleo diet or if you're completely vegan. Make it healthy. Bless your food, know what's coming into your system, eat with resonance. Also check a couple of books of blood types in you. Know your blood type if possible, what is actually required, how did you grow up, what did mom cook for you so you actually had the strength to do what you need to do. Stay away from all of the cheese. What else? I talked about chronic diseases can be lupus, MS, cancer, gastritis, HIV, Lyme, Epstein-Barr, migraine, fibromyalgia, diabetes, hepatitis, and any type of trauma you can have. Now here's the thing is what I spoke to a guy, many different guys that were physicians, and they said, that's dangerous, not taking antibiotics and this and that. So if you have a disease for 37 years and you do a treatment such as I did, and I built my fence around my house. I can run laps. My workouts are stronger. My body energy came back. And you saw me on YouTube maybe 2 years back. I lost like almost 30 pounds. I thought I'm dead. The parasite is taking over. Remember what happened to Steve Jobs? The guy didn't have to die. The guy died, and that's my opinion, and I know I'm right, because of biomechanical failure, and he didn't have the right people around him to actually train what needs to be trained. Now let's go to the training aspect. First of all, you want to enhance your body. Sounds like a sales pitch, but really I don't care. Surround yourself with something that has something of a photonic resonance. Plants is very little. What I have for people, even people that have problems with their heart or chest pain and that stuff, is all bacteria. This is all inflammation. Lower back pain, your muscles are inflamed. It has nothing to do with your discs. I mean, I have people where the doctor suggests, let's cut this disc out here and put a metal frame in there, and you have no more pain. You know what that is? Is that the lining of your muscles is being chewed on by bacteria. So we put a metal disc and a metal plate in here to support the muscles that are too weak because they're infected, and they put that in there. Well, that doesn't stop the infection, and no one looks for it. And I asked 40 to 50 people, it's always the same, is doctors are not trained. If it's acute, see a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm merely sharing an opinion, and I take no responsibility for your choice. But this is what I'm sharing with you. If I'm watching a guy that treats 4,000 people, and they're all clearing up, and they all have results, and their symptoms disappear, then I follow that route, and I'll no longer listen to the status quo expert. Here's what I have to share with you. I have no more migraine. When I did this, I had pain in my brainstem. That's dormant meningitis. Okay? Muscle strands, whatever holds this here in this liquid, the skin is stressed. And when I had the infection when I was 12 years old, I couldn't even do this. I couldn't even get up like this. I had to get up like this, and then I had to do this, and then slowly adjust, and then walk upright because I was in utter pain. All of that stuff is gone, but I had a psychic aspect to it too. So I looked into the dream realm, where I realized there were spells from ancient times, Lemuria and Atlantis. So we gotta go the extra route, the extra mile, and find the specialists that can actually tell you what's going on with you. I'm giving you also basics that will break the chain. Also, what you should get into a cellular matrix study is called organic sulfur. This is the address. organicsulfur@cisna.com. I'm not selling this. This is by Patrick McGeehan. This guy had a son with a reproductive testicular cancer. Takes the sulfur, which is organic, not the Whole Foods in the store. They all have anti-caking substance. Aluminum sulfate makes this useless. Fluoride and tap water mixed with this makes it useless. You got to use spring water and use organic sulfur. So use organic sulfur, part 1. Part 2, advanced cellular training. Train your immune system. I had a friend of mine that she had Lyme, and she used a Rife machine, and she says she's doing fine if she's doing it every week. Well, I said, that's my Scorpio rising. Well, I said, well, what happens when you stop using the machine? Well, guess what? It comes back. Because it's set to one program, set to one frequency, and the virus is slick. It knows that, the bacteria, it shapeshifts, it transforms and remodulates, and that next frequency cannot hit it. Your brain is a Rife machine, but it's a conscious one, and your brain never shuts off. So once your immune system knows how to defend itself, trust me, your nightmares will end. Even in nightmare dreams, which is a viral attack, can be, you all of a sudden you have a defense, like I have these. Sounds funny, but trust me, all of this makes sense in the end. I had superpowers. I spoke light language, I was speaking in tongues. I dispelled darkness, and stuff was like moving away from me. And I wake up and I'm like, I'm better, I'm stronger, I'm fit. Look at me, I'm 48. Look at other people's. Look at what's his name? Michael J. Fox. That is called neurological deterioration. That dude shouldn't look that old. And he's just really, this is where this is going. This is what an inflammation does. It chews on the lining of your muscle systems, and it chews away the coating of your nervous system, and then all of this wrinkle stuff comes in. Even that guy that collected, $64 million, whatever, is not healing because they're not looking at the picture of what's going on in the body. So I want to explain to you my experience that I made with Gary that kind of blew my mind. First of all, when I was in a crisis, I had a friend of mine that contacted me. He was a bodybuilder, and he went from 120 to like 83, and he thought he was dying. Side note: I knew another girl that she was in her bed for 1 year, couldn't get up. Another one had bacteria introduced through surgical instruments. Yes, that happens. But I say, some people don't want to hear it, but I say, let's go deep. When you have no more alternative, you should listen to me. So let's go to the bodybuilder. I was like, so how is it that you got your 200 pounds back and you're all built and you're healthy and well again? He's like, well, I found these advanced cell training guys. So what they do is they teach you codes to read, to train the autoimmune system to reboot and to find out what's really going on. Meaning basically you have many compartments in your system here where there's no light. Meaning your immune system has no idea what's going on. And basically they give you a light and an understanding of that's what's going on. You don't even need to understand the codes that you're reading, but your system will reboot and it'll come back. You also get smarter because you have more brain capacity to take care of other things while your immune system is not busy keeping the crap at bay, which is what you don't want. And I know many of you that had chronic diseases or have chronic diseases, you want your life to change. And the thing is this, you change your life when you make changes and the changes manifest in the body. That's called manifest. So no more theoretical possibilities, healing and what they say, the hoodoo and the kooky stuff of suggestions, not just belief. You need to really know what's going on. So I can believe that I have a flat tire and sit and pray to my flat tire and paint it gold and turn it into a god and then forget about it and it becomes this mythological figure in the heavens. But well, the highway to ascension is here and the car sits there and there's a wheel missing. Well, the mechanic is the Messiah, as in practical, not theoretical, not promises, not something that you rely on but you don't know. No, the dude has a wrench, gets the wheel, mounts the stuff, turns the engine back on, says you're good to go and you're on the way and you're driving. Let's get to as in also for the spiritual people, anchoring in what you want with your life, bringing it home, bringing it here, bringing the energy in. And I'm sweating while I'm pushing you, but this has a purpose. So you want to heal self. You want to heal cells. Celebration, cell liberate. Okay? So, what happened to me was basically is 1 year after the training, organic sulfur, being in a de-stressed environment, doing samadhi tank like floating and things that I love, finding peace within, finding love within and without, and really being at peace with myself. The major thing is with what I learned with advanced cell training, and this is what got me really open. It's the first time I talked to these guys, I was trembling. And then you know, the spectate might say, well, that's suggestion or you expect something. When in the healing codes, I read a code that said that I took on a guilt that my mother carried. And this is some personal stuff. And this is so personal that not even my mother knew this, but it made her cry when I told her what I found out. Is as an unborn in her womb, through the umbilical cord. Now listen, and this is fact. There's no proof, but you have to really know there are things between heaven and earth where we have yet to learn. In all humility and humbleness, we are learners. We're beginning to understand how the universe forms, how thought projections come out of us. How is this all being created? So, I read a code to build my immune system. Let's say there's a code, I'm like 12 years old and it says, the kids don't want to play with me because I'm not as strong as them. I need mommy to save me. Boom, ear infection. And I run a protocol and a code. So whenever that pattern occurs, I have a program to run into ear infection. Mommy comes, saves me, abusive love relationship. Yeah, our parents, we forgive our parents and we love our parents. They're only trying to do the best and they want the best for us from the perspective of where they are. Understood, innerstood, outerstood, all of that stuff. Now, we want to break the loop. So we're going into the kids don't want to play with me. Now all that was done to me. And then I get a number code. And it goes BLX, NLX, BB, 60, 900, 600, 70, 70, 50, 50, XL, XLX. And that is a code for a system reset that is being suggested to your conscious, subconscious, It's amazing how this works. And then your system goes like haywire. I'm trembling, I'm crying, and the next morning I got diarrhea. I feel sick as a dog. I'm doing my codes, and I'm back. And it's like this fear has left, and it never returned. I had stuff that always came back, and I'm like, okay, here we go again, same stuff again, gone. So after doing these codes of 1 year, treating myself with organic sulfur, being in a de-stressed situation, also not in an unhealthy relationship, which I was in the beginning. I have no more allergies. I have no allergies with animals. When this hay fever thing comes and all of the pollen are in the air, everybody runs around with their nose. I don't need no vitamin C. I need no supplements. I'm clear. When I used to get stressed, my nose started to run and my eyes started to twitch and I got really, really nervous. I don't have that anymore. When I have to, which I'm trying to not to have to do, is in debates, fearless. Fear disappears. So also when you heal your body and you understand the modality and your immune system actually gets conscious, you get more conscious. So I'm free of Lyme. Clearly, so we also had that done to muscle testing. Also, I had like a list of 15 symptoms. I'm not going to name them all. One was migraine, the other one was hay fever, allergies, stress Epstein-Barr, gastritis, meaning sugar allergies, the weird shit like I couldn't eat and then my stomach would mess up. Total mess when my stomach was upset. All of those symptoms went from a 9 to a 0. Also, you have to understand when you do this treatment is it goes from 9 to 0, then it comes back up, you feel a little bit of sick, then it goes back down, and it's like whoa, 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 whoa. It's fighting. They're trying to restructure, they're trying to regroup, mutate. Bacteria strategizes also. I could see that in my dream state. I'm pretty much developed, so not everybody will see what I have seen, but if you want to get better, make changes in your life, main thing is advanced cell training. If you have a chronic disease that you want to fight, organic sulfur, spring water, not tap water, and eat healthy, not so fatty, and healthy mind state, thought hygiene, keep it clear mind state, be really, really clear, and you get your IQ also up automatically. Another thing is, if you want to add, this is what I'm producing online, is the Gammatron key, which is a key that I sealed, that I showed to you right now, open. I fill this with nanomaterial, which has an extremely high light structure, again emanating a structured photonic environment for the body, because in the big cities, you're stressed with neon lights, 60 hertz, all of this all day stresses your body. So that makes your immune system also a little bit weak. So the diseases we have, they had it in because we're under constant stress. So I don't have migraine anymore. My nose doesn't run anymore. Sore throat is gone. I can eat at midnight if I want to. Now I know if I eat cheese, it kind of slows my system a little down. Anything with milk, it just slows it down. So I'm not so much a fan. I like to keep it fluid. I like to keep it light. And I'm well and I'm fine. And if people have questions, you can get into photonic devices to get the heart chakra photonically enhanced. That has to do with also not only that this enhances the work with the immune system, which is what I did with ACT, but also you have something that's called intracellular communication. So your cells, let's say mitochondria, have information centers like this, and they have, you can say, photonic layers that are connected to other cells, and these cells communicate amongst each other, and you can Google that. I don't have any links. This is your own research. Like I said, you must do the work. Well, your cells, you have an array of cell structure that communicates, and if that communication is kind of messed, that means you have less photonic action in your body. This is to enhance the photons, to bring that back up, but you have to do the work. The key assists, but ultimately you are the key. Also, what I produce is Ormus, I call it Galactivate, is get super minerals like monoatomic gold, Ormus, get that into your system and it accelerates. Luckily, in that class, I think I was the fastest student in a long time. Sometimes people take 2 to 3 years. If you carry that for 30 to 40 years, it'll take some time to get the microcolonies out of your system. I will try my best to get Gary or on my channel to interview him, to have him really explain what's going on. And the reason why I highly recommend this and why I know this works, where I don't need no convincing, is the guy muscle tests me over the phone, finds a code where I took a guilt of my mother's miscarriage before I was born. And that miscarriage would have been a girl. I don't know how he tapped into that information. He says, I'm not a magician. I'm not claiming anything. I'm just telling you what your body is telling me. And I feel it with every atom and every cell in my body that this is the truth. And when I told my mom that, she probably would have had a girl. She trembled because she knew the truth. So you can't know this by mere rational 3D realm and guessing. And I have to make these faces because I've been approached with stuff for people. You do not understand. There are other measures at work that are coming in now in this ascension game that help us heal. And in part, also when I do readings, I teach that. What are you running here? Let's say somebody has a broken record in their past. You're fighting this warrior. Oh, your warrior is dad. That's why you're always broke, because daddy never believed in you. Said you ain't never gonna be shit. I wasn't shit. Your father wasn't shit. My grandpa wasn't shit. You're gonna be. You think you're better than us? And then you think, okay, I want to be loved by daddy, so let's stay broke. Let's struggle and prove to daddy that I'm in the struggle, so I'm in the love. Well, meantime, dad passes on. You still have the same life struggle going on because you're still running daddy's I want to be accepted by father program. We want to find those programs, eliminate those programs, heal that, and then I want you to tell me what is the change that you're actually feeling. And here's what I learned about all the doctors, and I say respect to the doctors and physicians, but I had blood tests run, stomach, I had, what do you call this, endoscopic thing in here. Nobody found nothing, but I had the symptoms. I was sick, and they said, maybe you're just a sensitive guy, you're feeling the weather, and here's a tincture, $300. Here's a tincture, $600. Here's a tincture, $250. And you do that for 20 years, you do that $100,000 later, and you're still sick. What is that? Telling you is you're not healing. So nobody can convince me otherwise, because I know what I'm doing, and I'm much better, and I'm doing better, and my business is better, and my life is blooming and blossoming, and I'm reaching endeavors and things and having the most lucid and fantastic dreams, bringing creations. I know I'm doing better. And I'm doing better than I did when I was 24. So I know I made a change. And if you want to make a change, you listen to what I said. I thank you for your time. As usual, I would say, I see you on the flip side, but right now, this is the real side. So rational reality check. You want changes in your life, make changes. That's advanced cell training. Gary Blyer, or Bleer, I think. And organic sulfur. I showed you the deal here. This is the address. And this is the Gamatron key if you're interested. I'm much better, I'm well, I'm good and together. And again, to wrap this up, is I learned that the regular physician does not know that trauma and bacteria dance a tango. They work together. So let's say I was raped at the age of 7, you can have meningitis moving right into the rape house, and they dancing a tango. You want to break that, okay? You want to erase the code and tell the virus, get the stepping. And this is a part of the greatest thing of earth that we need to do before we're going anywhere. God within the body. God Elohim eternal in the body. That is what is in the Gattaca code. Greg Braden has proven that by cross-referencing the Hebrew alphabet and the Gattaca code. You are the representation of the source of the all. You are God. Goma az Dubar. I'll make this a riddle. Translate that. Tell me what that means. And you win a free key. Let's see who's the first one. Goma az Dabar or Dubar. ancient words. What is that even describing? And understand that you are created in that image of what you represent here right now. Healing yourself. And when we heal the sickness out of our system, like, oh, a sore muscle, maybe it's an inflammation, nobody checks that. You can get rid of demons, you can get rid of possessions, you can get rid of reptilian influence, you can get rid of abductions that are government controlled and unwanted, and you begin to see, and you open your third eye and you build your mind and you stay with me. And if you follow what I told you and you get better, you come back, you subscribe, and you donate. That can be years from now. I want to hear that this is really working for you and you're changing. I know it will be like, oh, he's leaning. Well, I'm a public figure. I have over 2 million views. It's my ass if I talk shit. And I want you to get better. So, see you, most certainly, on the flip side. But don't tell nobody.